right, we're back. So today, what we're gonna work on is its first oil change. We got just over 1 hour of run time. So we are going to drop this factory oil out of this machine, change the oil filter. Yeah, I'm gonna go take her out for a little spin, get her warmed up, and we'll drop that oil. Some things real quick. Added the fork guard protectors, come with the bike. I've also tightened the chain up a little bit. There was a little bit too much slack, and removed the, I guess, chain guard, I guess, on the top there is what you'd call it. I'm not sure. Tightened the chain up a little bit. Checked the sprocket bolts. Because on KTM's, spokes and sprocket bolts seem to kind of get a little loose on these with some hard off-roading. So just keep an eye out for those. Continue to check those as you go on. But I'll be right back. I'm going to go warm her up, and we'll start tearing this thing apart for the oil change. All right, we got her warmed up. So first thing we need to do, got our tools around. I believe that's all we're gonna need, a 8mm, 13mm, and I got I believe it's a T30, just in case. I know sometimes those rear skid plate bolts are hard to get out with the 8mm socket being too big, so I got that T30 just in case. Got my drain and a new oil filter, and I got my oil up over there on the counter there. So we're gonna get at it, and I'm gonna put you down and get this skid plate off. All right, so what we have, factory skid plate. We got a bolt right here on either side, and a bolt back here on either side. It's just those 4 bolts that we gotta take off. So I'm gonna do that real quick here. Side note, the front 2 bolts are longer, probably 5-10 millimeters longer. So just make sure you put them correctly back in. Small ones in the back. Set that out of the way. Also on the rear, you have these collars for small bolts. All right, so next we need to take out the filler cap. Leave it on the foot peg over here, just get some airflow through it. Having a paper towel is always handy. So on these Husqvarna's KTMs, at least the 2024 that I've noticed, model year. We have our oil drain plug in the back. We have our oil screen plug. So that's got a screen in it that we need to take out. We have our oil filter cavity. And then we also have another drain plug underneath. So let me bring you in close right here for a sec. All right. As you can see, right side of the bike here. That far back with that copper crush washer, that's your oil drain. The one right next to it, to the left, it says FL right there. That is your oil screen cavity. And then here in front of your stator, that's your oil filter cover. There's a paper filter in there. And that's what we're going to replace with that one. And again, on the underside here, there's another drain. All right, going under here. The third one we've got to remove is this black one. And I believe there's an O-ring underneath it. Do not remove this one. That's a oil pressure, I'm not sure exactly, but do not remove that one. You want to remove the black one. I'm going to take you back out of here, set you back up. All right, let's drain this oil. 13 millimeter. Paper towels ready, because I know it's going to go everywhere, but thankfully I got these mats down as well. Sorry for the neighbor lawn mowing. All right, I think we got a gap between lawn mowing, so let's hurry up and get this drained. It would help if I got an actual 13 millimeter instead of a 12. FYI, 13. I like to just keep pressure pushing inwards on the threads so the oil don't blow that plug out and just spew it everywhere. And I can kind of just let it slowly come out. You get your hands oily, but I'd rather get my hands oily than get crap everywhere. Oil still looks really good, really clean. See what this oil filter or oil screen looks like. Looks like there's a little bit of junk on the magnetic portion of the oil drain plug. All right, so what we got here is our drain plug. The tip of this is magnetic to grab any particles, metallic particles. Looks pretty clean, no big chunks. And the fuel filter, or I'm sorry, the oil screen, not even a filter, oil screen. You can kind of see a little bit of flake in there. That's pretty standard. As these engines are breaking in, you'll probably have that. A little bit, kind of your first, at least for sure, in your least couple oil changes. Then it'll slowly, it should slowly slow down on how much you see in there. If you see in large chunks, which hopefully you're not on your first oil change, but if you're seeing large chunks in either your screen or on your drain plug, you're gonna have, you got issues going on inside that engine. You're gonna have to really either take it in for service and have them look at it, or crack that open, because you don't want any large chunks. So, all right, I'm gonna let this drain. little bit longer, and then I'm going to drop that bottom plug. All right, I'm going to drop that. Remember, black plug. I'm not sure if it's a different color on a KTM. At least on this 2024 Husky 501, it is black. So we got a good bit of oil out of there. It's just finishing up here. It does have a green O-ring on it, so make sure you don't lose that. I'm gonna just let this drip a little bit longer. I'm gonna reinstall this. We'll go over to the drain plug and filter, or I'm sorry, screen, and we'll get those cleaned up, throw those back in here. And then we'll tilt this thing over on its side and do the oil filter. All right. Apologize for the poor lighting here, but anything you can do to clean this up, you know, just some brake clean. You can probably just clean it up, honestly, with just a rag. Yeah, it looks like that came pretty clean. Your screen here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow it out from the inside out with some brake clean. These two separate. Just be careful, there's O-rings on both sides right here. So it can go back in either way. It's bi-directional. It's bi. So yeah, I'm going to get that cleaned up. Throw that back in. Check the torque specs. I'll get back to you on those, and we'll torque everything back up on those, and then we'll get it leaned over on its side. All right. So yeah, just basically shot it with some brake clean, got it cleaned up, and then just blasted it with some compressed air, just to kind of make sure to get everything out, dry it. You don't want to put this thing back in with brake clean. Another thing, these crush washers, you can kind of see it's got a little bit of a KTM Husqvarna. They'll tell you to change these every time. I'm just going to flip it and go with that. Probably do it every other time. I'll change those. All right, going back in. All right, let's get these back in. This is no issue, right? This goes back in, hand thread, and then we'll tighten it up. All right, screen. Now this is, some people have problems, I guess, with these screens, getting them in there cockeyed somehow. I honestly don't know how that happens. But basically, if you just go in straight, it goes exactly where it needs to go. So just take your time, don't ram jam it in there. Probably should do is, make sure you get some oil on these O-rings though before you put it in. Make sure it's seated in there all the way. I guess there's a little bit of play with it. I've seen people take this apart, have a screwdriver to line it up straight in there. I guess, you can do it just like this. Again, tighten my hand. If you feel like it's getting tight or something don't feel right, you got a lot of thread still sticking out, stop. Don't just keep trying to jam it in. I'm just snugging them. Snugging them. Until I get the torque wrench out. Watch, I'll do that here at the end. Alright. I'm gonna get this bad boy on its side. I'm gonna pop the oil filter. Actually, I'm gonna pop the oil filter because I'm sure it's gonna have some oil in it. And then we'll tip it over. some people have trouble getting this off. If you just turn it sideways, just clock it, and then pull it out, it'll pop right out. So this has an O-ring on it as well. Make sure you want to check for any nicks or cuts. Replace it if need be. Make sure it's on there when you put it back on. Just go in that cavity, pop out, pull. No reason to make it harder than it is. All right, that's pretty much done draining. I'm going to get it wiped up and get it tipped over on its side, and then we'll start with the oil filter, and we'll putting some oil back in it. All right, she's leaned over. So you just, on the stand, just put the handlebar, throttle tube handlebar right on that stand, right in the middle of it. That's how the pros do it. That ain't gonna hurt it. We're not gonna be here very long either. So again, right here, oil filter cavity. We're gonna fill that up a little bit, a third to a half. We're gonna drop our tusk filter in. Make sure when you put this in, you put it rubber side back. So you have this closed off section facing out towards you. Should not look like this. Should look like this once it's installed. Grab our oil. We gotta go crazy with it. But we don't want a dry filter in there. You don't overfill it or it'll slosh out at you. Okay. Doesn't matter which way. Doesn't look like it does. Just be careful when you're pushing that in. You don't want to cut that O-ring. Snug up one side just a little bit and go back and forth. I think this is like, I'm not sure torque specs on these, is very gentle. I'll get you torque specs in the description. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna get her back up. It's so nice having a dirt bike with a kickstand sometimes. All right, filling her up here. So we got what's left from the oil filter that of what we put in the oil filter. So this is, 950 roughly milliliters. And then in here we got 250 milliliters. So that gives us 1200 milliliters total, which is what we need, 1.2 liters. So we'll get this dumped in here, and then we'll go over on the other side and torque down our bolts. So Torx settings, your drain bolt underneath is 15 Newton meters. Your screen bolt, the oil screen bolt, is 15 Newton meters, and then your magnetic oil drain bolt is 20 Newton meters. All right, let's finish this out. Everything's buttoned up. About halfway. Just perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, there you have it, guys and gals. Any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I will get back to you. Yeah. What's next? I'm hoping I get a package from Taco Moto here probably next week, being that this is going to be a holiday week. A data will come this week, but that will have some goodies in it, and we'll tear into this a little bit more. All right, everyone, have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. See ya.